If you think discipline means waking up at 5 a.m., taking cold showers, and grinding 24/7 until you burn out and fall back into laziness, you've misunderstood the game. Your brain runs on rules, mental systems that decide whether you take action or hit snooze. And once you understand those rules, discipline stops feeling like pain. It starts feeling effortless and almost illegal. Motivation is a scam. And yet people still fall for it every day. You wait for that magical surge of energy to get started, but motivation is unstable. It spikes, it crashes, and it never stays steady. Here's what the science shows. Motivation is the energy that drives action. But the real controller isn't motivation itself, it's perception. Think of motivation as heat. It's the raw energy. Now think of perception as the thermostat. It doesn't create the heat, but it controls how much heat flows. If your beliefs say, I'm capable, the thermostat turns up. More energy flows because you trust yourself, you're internally motivated, and action feels possible. If your context feels safe and aligned, like your environment supports your goals, the thermostat stays steady. You stay consistent because nothing's blocking the flow. But if your beliefs whisper, I always fail, or your environment feels chaotic or unclear, the thermostat turns down. Even if you want to act, the energy doesn't flow. Motivation drops. You hesitate, procrastinate, or shut down. This is why motivation feels unreliable, and your perception changes constantly, depending on contexts and beliefs. One bad day, one distraction, one moment of doubt, and motivation collapses. That's why you start strong on Monday and crash by Wednesday. That's why you need discipline. Discipline doesn't care about the weather, your mood, or conditions. It keeps you moving forward regardless. So stop waiting for motivation. It's not coming to save you. The willpower trap. Did you know that willpower is the weakest layer of discipline? That's right, it's useful but fragile. Every time you force yourself to study, to work out, or to resist junk food, you're burning a limited resource. The more you rely on raw willpower, the faster it drains. By evening, it's gone. Willpower comes from your prefrontal cortex, your brain decision-making hub, and that region tires out quickly. You can power through the morning with focus, but by night you're running on empty. Meanwhile, your identity runs in the background 24/7. It doesn't tire, it doesn't deplete. That's why habits stick or fail based on the identity they're linked to. Think of it this way, willpower is a temporary battery. It runs out fast and leaves you stranded. Identity is the full operating system. It powers everything in the background, non-stop. So discipline isn't about squeezing more out of willpower. It's about upgrading your operating system, your identity. Because your brain follows one rule, you act in line with who you believe you are. If your operating system says, I'm disciplined, then going to the gym or sitting down to study isn't a heroic act. It's simply what people like you do. It's normal. But if deep down you believe, I'm lazy, you'll subconsciously prove it right. Shift it to I'm disciplined, and your brain will fight to make your actions match. One identity shuts the door, the other leaves it wide open. So here's the challenge. Stop saying, I want to be disciplined. Start saying, I am disciplined. Not as fake positivity, but as code you install into your system. You don't need to be extreme at first. Even sitting down to study for 30 minutes counts. Each time you follow through, your small consistent actions will reinforce it. That's who I am. Stack those small, consistent wins, and discipline stops feeling like effort. It starts feeling inevitable. Cue control technique. Here's something most people never realize. Your environment programs your behavior all day long. Every notification, every snack, every app, they're all cues. And your brain runs on cues automatically. Behavior isn't random. It's constructed. Research by BJ Fogg shows that behavior happens when three forces line up to trigger action. Motivation, ability, and a prompt. Motivation is the want. If you care enough, you lean in. If you don't, you resist. Ability is the can. If it feels easy, you'll do it. If it feels impossible, you'll quit before you start. And the prompt is the spark. This is the hidden trigger most people miss. You don't open TikTok because you're lazy. You open it because the little red badge or the swipe on your home screen acts as the spark. The cue fires, and suddenly you're scrolling for hours and cannot stop. Now let's come back to your environment. Think of it as a remote control for your brain. Whoever holds it wins. Right now, TikTok and Instagram are holding your remote. That's why you can't focus, no matter how much you promise you will. But here's the thing. You can take the remote back. Put your phone on airplane mode. Silence any notifications. Lay out your gym clothes the night before. Place your textbook on your desk instead of hiding it in your bag. Over time, distraction cues disappear and discipline cues multiply. So ask yourself, is your environment training you to procrastinate or to progress? I dare you to audit your space tonight. Remove one cue for distraction. Add one cue for discipline. Throw away the fizzy drinks. Hide the snacks from your nightstand. Place a water bottle on your desk. It's a small shift, but it puts the remote back in your hands. And once you hold the remote, you control the channel your brain is tuned to. The micro-win formula. Everyone thinks discipline is about huge effort. Wrong. Your brain doesn't work like that. It runs on momentum. And momentum is built from ridiculously tiny wins. Here's the science behind this. Habits don't stick because of willpower. They stick because of repetition. Research by Philippa Lally at UCL found that it's not one big push, but small repeated actions that hardwire automatic habits. On average, it takes approximately 66 days for a habit to become fully automatic. And here's the key. Even the tiniest wins trigger dopamine. That I did it chemical feels good in the moment, but it also teaches your brain to want the behavior again. Think of it as a built-in reward system. You have a small win, and your brain throws a mini party. That party becomes a feedback loop saying, hey, keep doing this is worth it. That's why starting small isn't a weakness. It's the hack that makes discipline reinforce itself. Here's how to apply it. Shrink your goal until it feels ridiculously stupid. Pick one action that takes less than 2 minutes and tie it to a daily cue. Open the book instead of forcing yourself to study for hours. Write one sentence instead of promising yourself a paragraph. Do 20 squats instead of forcing a full workout. The point isn't the size of the action, it's that it keeps the chain alive. And let me be brutally honest, if you can't win 2 minutes, you're not undisciplined. You're choosing to lose on purpose. Prove it to yourself by winning 2 minutes today. The instant reward hack. Be real with yourself. Do you really think your brain cares about the future? No, that dream body, promotion, or freedom, too far away. Psychologists call this delay discounting. Your brain undervalues future rewards and chases the instant hit right in front of you. Every time you find yourself acting like your future doesn't matter, think it's actually your brain acting like a toddler in a candy store. It doesn't care about long-term health. It just wants sugar now. And if you don't give it something, it throws a tantrum and drags you back to old habits. That's why you need to hack your brain's reward system. Pair hard actions with immediate micro rewards. Study for 20 minutes, then play a favourite track. Complete a gym workout, then come back home and reward yourself with a hot coffee. Write 500 words, then check off a visible box on your list. The key is making the reward instant, real, and not self-sabotage. I made that mistake myself, constantly treating myself with snacks and coffee, which only kept me craving more. Or the opposite, resisting rewards for days. That's why monk mode extremes don't work. They starve your brain instead of retraining it. So here's the truth. If you never reward discipline, your brain will resent it. So, add small wins now, and discipline becomes something you look forward to repeating. The habit loop. Let me ask you something I should have asked earlier. Why do you think you keep failing at discipline? It's not because you're too weak. I bet you're not. It's wiring. Your daily habits, whether good or bad, run on the same loop. Cue, routine, and reward. And most people wire the loop in a way that works against them. Get the loop wrong, and you've just automated failure. Late night scrolling? That's a loop. Skipping workouts? That's a loop. Your brain is like a slot machine. If you set the loop badly, you'll keep pulling the lever and getting the wrong jackpot. But here's the thing. You can rewire the loop to automate discipline. Pick one consistent cue, same time, same place, like 7 a.m. desk or gym bag by the door. Define the exact routine. Be specific. 10 minutes of reading, 20 push-ups, or 10 minutes of meditation. Choose a reward that feels instant and satisfying, whether it's 20 minutes relaxing and listening to music or enjoying a cup of coffee. So remember, discipline isn't forcing yourself. It's wiring the machine so showing up becomes the path of least resistance. Most people still treat discipline like punishment, but you're rewiring your brain like a hacker. And that's why your discipline will feel almost illegal. Leave a comment down below if you're locking in, and subscribe to Healthy Mind CEO so you don't miss the next one.